What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, Skip Bayless, okay? Skip Bayless has a podcast. Shannon Sharp has a podcast, but I believe his podcast is more of an interview format show. I think it's called Club Shay Shay. It's very popular with viewers. Skip has a podcast, but I think it's more of him interacting with fans of Skip Bayless. And in a recent podcast, which can be seen on YouTube, he accused Charles Barkley of literally wanting to end him. Okay. Um, he believes, at least he says, he believes that Charles Barkley is serious when he says that he wants to uh, end Skip Bayless as we know it. All right. He says he doesn't know why Charles Barkley doesn't like him or why Charles has it in for him. But he pretty much tries to make the audience feel like, man, woe is me. What did I do to deserve such, such anger and hostility from this man? I didn't do anything. I'm just giving my opinion. Why does he pick on little old me? Well, look, Charles Barkley is a lot of things. I will say this: Charles Barkley is fair. Okay, um, he doesn't like, and he said in the past, he thinks that Skip Bayless plays favorites. That Skip Bayless has certain athletes that he likes and certain athletes that he doesn't like, and that his analysis reflects that. He cherry picks things that make athletes that he likes look better and cherry picks things or events that make athletes that he don't particularly care for look worse. And that goes against the Charles Barkley School of Journalism. Not to mention the fact that Skip Bayless has belittled Charles Barkley as a basketball player. This is a guy that said that he would take Draymond Green over Charles Barkley. He said, and this is one of the most ridiculous statements he ever made. He said Charles was not an impactful scorer. Like yeah, he scored and he grabbed rebounds, but it didn't have an impact on winning. It didn't have an impact on winning, which was the biggest pile of horse shit that any analyst has ever spewed. Um, it's a reason why Charles Barkley won an MVP award in '93. It's a reason why he came that close to taking the MVP away from Magic Johnson in 1990, even though his team only won 53 games, because he did it with a shitty roster. The best player he played with the Philadelphia 76ers was Hershey Hawkins. And no knock on Hershey Hawkins, but if Hershey Hawkins is your second best player, you're not going to win a championship. Remember, Hershey Hawkins was on the Sonics in '96, who did go to the finals, and Hershey might have been at that point maybe their third best scorer, maybe third or fourth. So Charles Barkley is actually statistically one of the most impactful scorer and one of the most efficient scorers the game has ever seen. But this is what's interesting about Skip Bayless, though. He says all of that, but then he says Charles Barkley is afraid of him. So let me get this straight. Charles Barkley wants to take you out, but he's afraid of you at the same time. He's afraid of him and afraid to go to his podcast. And he challenged Charles to refute him by appearing on his podcast. Look, at the end of the day, Skip Bayless is a scam artist. Um, Skip Bayless is not someone who is genuine in his actual talking points. It's an act. It's a facade. Um, it's for ratings. Everything that he says and does is calculated. Okay, it's all for show for the most part. At the end of the day, he knows that Charles Barkley is a great player. At the end of the day, he knows that a lot of the takes that he has are bullshit, but he does things for shock value. He says things for shock value. And, Skip, to me, honestly, people like to say Stephen A. Smith. Skip Bayless started this shit, to be honest with you. Skip Bayless is the one that started this pathway of sports journalists basically being the Howard Sterns, and the Don Imuses of sports. They're just there to push the envelope and shock viewers and create ratings by saying the most ridiculous, outlandish shit that they think they know is going to get a reaction out of people. That's what they do. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.